To get some idea of what it was like to be living around the area at the time, we look at a local farmer by the name of Clem Gough. Now, Clem was a native Irish Catholic. He has changed over to the Protestant ascendancy because he wants to keep his land, his farm, whatever property he has. The field out here behind me was divided up into small paddocks. Father Murphy, who had managed to accumulate 3 cattle during his time here as a curate over 12 years, and the cattle were grazing out here in this field. Down in the bottom corner of the field, close to where Clem lived, Clem was growing barley. Cattle, of course, being cattle, were nosy creatures, and they decided one afternoon that to relieve some of the boredom, they would take off for a walk down to Clem's barley. In they get to Clem's, munch away merrily until Clem looks out from the house and sees them. Having decided that Father John's cattle are going to do damage, Clem comes down through the trees, crosses the river, rounds up the 3 cattle, drives them back up the field and drives them in through this gate that I'm standing at. His idea is to get them out through the gate on the opposite side of this yard, down into the cowhouse. The only problem with that is the cattle have this little bit of unfinished business down in the tasty barley. They don't want to go out the gate opposite, they want to go back out this gate and go back down to finish what they were doing. Clem is left struggling with the 3 cattle here in the middle of the yard. Over the other side of the yard there's a young fellow by the name of Quigley, who is supposed to be the farmhand keeping an eye on things. He hasn't realised that Clem's barley is being eaten by the cattle, but he does hear the shouting and the bellowing going on here in the haggard. He comes out and has a look between the buildings. What he sees is Clem rounding up the 3 cattle. His automatic reaction is they're being stolen. So what does he do? He goes back down to the lodge, he takes out the carbide, walks up the yard, walks in through the gate opposite me, walks across the yard and shoots Clem where he stands in the middle of the yard. Clem lived for 3 days, which is why there's a record of what happened. But that will give you some idea of what the attitude to people was around here at the time. If you look at that scenario, you have a native Irish Catholic turned Protestant landlord who has been caught trying to steal the local parish priest's cattle out of the local parish priest's yard and has been shot by the local priest's farmhand. In fact, while Clem was being shot here in the yard, Father Murphy and 6 or 7 of the other local farmhands were away on the bog cutting turf for the winter. There are no recorded recriminations, it was just put down as a bad decision and a tragic accident.
We took a molen and a scorty and Wexford's door